Okay, hi guys, my name is Melissa Duke, and I'm going to be talking to you guys today about my Genius Hour project. So how I started the project, what was my inspiration for it, and eventually how it turned out, and all the progress throughout it. So I want to begin just with a little bit of introduction about Genius Hour for people who don't know it. So the idea of Genius Hour is to let kids work on projects that they're passionate about. So the teacher would say to the kids, okay, so what does everybody want to work on? I want everyone to think of something that they really want to know about, something they want to learn, something they want to do. So then one of the big ideas within a Genius Hour project is the project has to be research. So the kids have to do a lot of research to find out about what they want to do, what they want to learn. The project has to be approved by the teacher, which is also pretty important. And then they have to present their project, everything they've learned, all the information they've gained, any new skill they learned, they kind of show the class, and then they talk about the project and everything they've kind of learned and every task they completed throughout the trial, I guess. So for my Genius Hour project, I chose to answer the question, I want to learn how to make pasta from scratch. So a little bit of inspiration behind this is my roots and my own heritage. Actually, I'm half Italian. So I made a little Prizzy thing here just to kind of give some pictures and a little bit of background about why I chose for my project. So these are my grandparents, Christina and Domenico Capoletti. So they came here from Italy in the 1960s to make a better life for their 3 children. They came here with pretty much nothing. They really didn't have much other than the clothing on their back. They came here on the boats, I guess you could say. They worked as a tailor, my nana was a maid. They pretty much had odd jobs, did whatever they could to make ends meet for their family. So I have very fond memories of them because they pretty much raised me and my brother, actually, since we were very young. Family was really, really important to us. We were very, very close-knit. So a couple of pictures. So yeah, every time there's anybody's birthday, it was a big celebration. So I have a lot of fond memories just because my grandparents taught me a lot of things, and I got to watch, just kind of watch them be themselves. I don't know, kind of watch the Italian traditions as I grew up. Yeah, so a couple of family celebrations. Yeah, so very close-knit family. Yeah, so when I was younger, we spent a lot of time with my grandparents, so a lot of fond memories I have are of my nana cooking. So she was always cooking. Doesn't matter what it was, she was always making anything from scratch. Anytime she could make anything from scratch, she did. She made her own cheese, she made her own pasta, her own sauce, her own bread, her own soap she actually made from scratch. So she was very all about not sustainability, but kind of doing things for herself. And yeah, so my grandparents were also very big into gardening. So another thing we did other than make our own pasta was make our own sauce. I have a lot of memories ever since I was so young, every summer, taking tomatoes from my grandparents' garden and then making them into sauce for the pasta. So I actually have this over here, which is my grandmother's homemade pasta machine that she used for forever. It's as old as it looks. It is so old. So I actually use this for my project, which I'll show you guys some pictures of after. So yeah, so my inspiration is just my family, and I wanted to be able to show my grandma that I learned how to make pasta because she taught me, but I honestly had no idea how to do it for myself. So I thought it was pretty important to kind of learn a little bit about my roots and where I came from, and just being able to say I know how to make pasta from scratch as an Italian, I think is pretty important. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, so a little bit about my research and how I kind of started the project. So to begin, I started researching recipes. So I researched for days, recipes, pretty much just kind of finding out what would be the best way to make pasta, the easiest way. Kind of wanted it to be pretty simple. I didn't want it to be anything too extravagant because it was my first time. So I had the idea that I would start maybe pretty at a simple recipe, try it out, see how it went, kind of little trial and error. So I did that actually twice before I actually decided to make my final batch. So one of the big issues that I ran into was the battle between flours and the argument, people had between how much flour to use, what kind of flour. So no matter what recipe I researched and things I looked up, there was always contradictory between that. So I kind of just decided you know what, I'll do whatever I think is right. So I actually ended up making 2 different kinds that put the 2 different kinds of flour mixtures together. So I just took a couple pictures through the process of us making it. I actually enlisted some help to make the pasta. So yeah, so these are some of the ingredients. So yeah, so we actually decided to be bold and make a basil and garlic pasta, which actually turned out really great. Yeah, so that's the flour. So once we decided to be brave and try to make one flour completely from scratch. We didn't use any mixes or anything, we went pretty old school with it. And then with the other one, we decided to use a mixer because it was a lot harder to do this than we thought. So yeah, but it turned out pretty good. wasn't as hard as we thought, that's for sure. So that's me right there, rolling out the dough. This process was so much easier really than I actually thought it would be, and it was actually kind of a lot of fun. We got some family members to help out, and yeah, so it felt pretty crazy like when we were doing this to think that people had done this in the past, like the whole entire process like by hand. And they didn't have the pasta machine that we had, which that machine was so helpful to us. Like it would have been crazy to have done the whole thing without it. So to have that was just crazy to think about that anybody had ever not used it before. So yeah, so when we finished the pasta, that's me with the pasta being rolled out. So yeah, so we had to do a couple of, with the pasta machine you can roll it out, so we had to do it a couple of times to get the kind of width of the pasta we wanted. And then yeah, so that's us, we're making the noodles there. I don't know if you can see it. So yeah, the pasta machine actually lets you cut the noodles too. So yeah, so that's a little bit of background of why I decided to do that and the process of the project. Yeah, so when we made the pasta, it turned out really great actually. We decided to make a special sauce to go along with it, which was homemade, which was pretty cool. And we had a bunch of family members and they absolutely loved it, so it was really great. It was pretty satisfying to find, to start from scratch with something and to really follow through with it, and it turned out really good, so that was pretty gratifying. Yeah, so a little bit about why I chose this project. So obviously, like I said before, it's very personal to me. It's something that I really think it was important to kind of go back and look at my roots and learn how to do something that was so simple but I didn't know how to do, and I think my grandmother would be really, really happy to learn that I learned how to do that. And yeah, I think it's important to know to know where you came from and to know how to do things that are part of your heritage. I feel pretty proud to have learned how to do that. Yeah, so it was really fun and I had a great time doing it, and it was pretty overwhelming to learn about all the different recipes and stuff like that. When I was researching everything, I was getting so overwhelmed, but in the end it was a lot easier and a lot simpler, and I'd really suggest to anybody who's interested in making things from scratch or interested in kind of making their own pasta to really go ahead and do it. It's a lot of fun, as I've said a million times before, but it's a lot of fun, and it's the flavors are amazing when you make your own pasta, and you really don't notice the difference unless you've had your own homemade pasta. I mean, if you have it in a restaurant, but making it at home, just making it and then cooking it right then, it's amazing. Yeah, so I think it'd be pretty awesome to get to show my grandma or to serve to my nonna the pasta that I made. I know it wouldn't compare in any way, but I think she'd be pretty happy to see that I learned how to do it. Yeah, so for the future, the implications of my project, I think it's pretty important to teach kids kind of about their roots. Like I said before, it's pretty important to know where you came from and to know the struggles of your ancestors and of your family members before you. So I mean, it's kind of interesting for me to see that my grandparents probably back in Italy had to make everything themselves by scratch, so they didn't have any of the luxuries that we did today. So doing the project, it was interesting to me to we didn't really have very many, we didn't use many appliances when we were making the pasta. So it was kind of interesting to see how people in the olden days would have struggled to just get by with making their own meals. Yeah, so it really, really, really helped me to appreciate not only the past but my past. Yeah, so I want to be able to pass this on to anybody who wants to learn, my friends or even my own kids. I know I'm first generation Canadian, but I do have a lot of traditions that I have from my family, so I want to be able to pass this skill on to my kids. Thanks for listening. So I just want to say thanks to everyone for listening to me and to listening to my inspiration and my progress throughout my Genius Hour project. And I hope that I provided some kind of inspiration for anybody who wants to learn how to make things from scratch, pasta especially. It's really gratifying and it's a really fun experience. So I would definitely suggest to anybody who's interested to go ahead and try it. Thanks, guys.